Now on today's video, I wanted to show some of the things I've learned about using the Givi tank lock bag. There's several little things you need to know if you're going to try to install this on a motorcycle and modify the ring and the horseshoe. I try to show that on the video. Modern bikes, it seems like it's a pretty self-explanatory bolt-on. Some of the bikes, like I have 4 historically registered bikes, which some of the caps, like the one on the GS 1100, no way, I have to invent something else. But I did want to show, it's a relatively simple thing if you have a modern bike, what parts to buy, and there's a lot of little tricks. If you're going to buy multiple bikes, you need multiple rings and horseshoes. So it's not as easy. If you have multiple bikes in one bag, it's something you have to take into account. And it's, of course, more convenient if you know that ahead of time when you place the order, or just makes it easier for you. So, and the purpose, of course, of our whole information that's on our channel is to share the information. Most of my friends, like me, have a great passion for motorcycling, and we all seem to enjoy sharing that information. Now, today's video is going to be about some little quirks and little things that I've learned about the Givi tank lock bag. This is by far the best bag I've had, and some of the magnetic ones and some of the other things that you do to carry stuff around with you, like putting bungee cords around it and wrapping it around your neck or whatever. This has proven to be a very important part of my enjoyment of motorcycling. I want to share what I've learned and show how to install this. We have one more bike that needs to have the ring installed, a relatively simple job, but keep in mind, if you have more than one motorcycle, you need more than one of those installation rings and the horseshoe. So anyway, while Karen is recovering from her surgery, I'm only able to do these little small maintenance jobs. I'm anticipating being able to ride pretty soon, but not today. We still have one more visit that we have to see if she's going to get her cast removed. In the meantime, I think it's safe to say I could get this all done in less than an hour, and that will complete the collection of bikes that they make a tank bag for. And in the future, I'm going to, and I'll show this on further on in the video, I'm going to come up with some way, I hope, to put this on an RD and on the GS, but I haven't figured that out yet. So of course, on modern bikes, almost all modern bikes use a similar gas cap, and Givi makes kits for almost every one. Once that ring is installed, it snaps on. It stays pretty solid. Now it does have a little movement in it, and of course in my case, because I have a radar detector, that's really one of the things I enjoy about this. And once I know the radar detector is gone, so basically for each additional bike, assuming you have more than one bike, if you have one bike, you just need to order the correct ring and you're done. The problem is if you have, in my case, multiple bikes, you need to order extra parts. Vlad, thank you for getting these. They're all on the Givi website, of course. Unless you just contact Vlad and make him get them. That's even easier. Anyway, this mounts up relatively straightforward. Now this is going to be for the FZR. What I've done when I used the FZR in the past, and I didn't have this because I was one short. I don't remember why we were one short when Vlad ordered them. When I didn't have this, I just took it off the R1, put it on the FZR, fit perfect, so I just ordered another one. This is an R1 serial, the number. But this will fit right on. A relatively simple job to put it on. But beware, you buy one tank bag and you have 4 motorcycles, you need to buy 3 more. You really need to buy 4 of them, in fact. Now, just for truth in advertising, I had to adapt this and I had to re-drill holes. You can see these are the original holes in the gas cap. And this, of course, the original locking gas cap comes with the motorcycle. And I did have to grind away back here so that I could open the gas cap. And in fact, it's really pretty funny when I tell you this. I had done this whole thing and I wanted to run out and go for a quick ride. And luckily I wasn't that far from home, and I went to open the gas cap and it had an interference here. And I still could get the gas in, but I was thinking, you're so smart, why didn't you check that at home? Because I was in a rush to go for a ride. And the truth is, I'm always in a rush to go for a ride. So anyway, these are easy to adapt to almost all of these. This is an antique motorcycle, historically registered. it doesn't have the holes line up exactly right, but some bikes do, some don't. But if you can't get one that fits, you can get one that's pretty close and do your own drilling. And again, I think I'm sure I put this on a previous video, so you could dial up my name, Windy Ertnowski, in quotation marks, and then Givi tank bag, and that video should come up of how to modify that. And as I said before, the R1 is an interchangeable one, so it's real easy. In the past, when I'd ride the FZR, I'd take this off, but I wanted the convenience of having one for every bike. And of course, these are a few bucks, but the convenience you have, and I'm going to have these for a long time, because I try never to ride without that radar detector, or the bag that has the tire repair and jumper cables and my spare battery for jump starting the bike. Now, since I have a parts bike and I can have the spare gas cap for that, I was trying to envision a way I could use the spare gas cap. Haven't figured it out yet. It's for a future video, but I want to make something, hopefully, that can go on here and I can still get the cap on and off. It's a lot more complicated to adapt this to an older bike than you think it would be. And that's good information to know before you run out and buy this. Now, the alternative is, if you have a bike like this, you don't want to do any work with this type of a cap, you get the magnetic bag. I have a magnetic bag and it worked fine for years. But what happens as time goes by, the cloth or material wears away and then the magnets start to scratch the paint. And you can, at that point in time, just replace the bag. In this case, the tank locked one, I think it's a big upgrade because nothing touches the paint. So pretend you just bought the first of the tank bags and you've not done this before. Relatively simple. This is an aftermarket gas cap that we got off eBay. I believe Luciano was the one that found these. They were about $12. And the advantage of this is I didn't like having the one with the key for a lot of reasons. I just liked having this one better. It was not an appearance thing. And then I remember Luciano got a gold one, and then Glenn, when Glenn came to look at the bike and he did his evaluation, he says, oh, you need a black one to match the black stripe, and Glenn bought this and donated it to our cause. So thank you, Luciano, and thank you, Glenn, and well, what else can I say? Anyway, this is a relatively simple job, but step one is you got to get the original cap off. Once that's off, it's pretty simple. You don't really even have to take the cap off. What you have to do is take the screws out, and they give you replacement screws that are just a little bit longer. And I'll make sure I put this back exactly the way it was. The gasket is fitting right. Okay, now I've got to go get the part, take it out of the package, and then using the screws and spacers that they give you, put that on. Again, relatively simple job, but the problem is, like the magnetic bag, it's done. Well, if you bought a new one every year or two, I guess it would be okay, but I had mine about 5 years and it really started scratching up the paint. And when Vlad suggested this, he was right on the money. He usually is, by the way. So again, these come, you can get them when you buy the Givi bag, and the parts you're going to need, figure out ahead of time how many motorcycles you're going to need them for. These are unique. I want to make sure there's instructions, of course, but I'm not sure you need the instructions for this. But here's the special screws and spacers that you probably do need, and the unique horseshoe for this motorcycle. So in this case, it's not an FZR one, it's an R1, and it does fit. I've had it on already. I've had the other one on. So what you want to do is you want to use these little spacers, and these are special longer bolts. So what that allows it to do is it allows this to come up off the tank just a little bit, so that when you put this on and off, you don't take any chance on scratching the paint. And all of these bikes basically have custom painting that I don't even want a hairline scratch in it, let alone a big chip from putting something, that I don't need to put in the bike. So from this point on, it's just a question of getting the spacers, the washers, and the bolts. And I would always suggest anything you tighten, on a motorcycle especially, try to tighten a little bit hand tight, a little bit tighter, like a star, a little bit tighter. If you have several, it's best to do it in a star pattern. In the case of 3, it's just better to torque each one down just a little bit at a time. But of course you want this to be tight, this is going to be holding whatever you have in that bag on. Now, whether you just have a pair of loose underwear, or in my case, I have a lot of things: the tire repair, the spare jumper battery, easy pass, or whatever. There's a lot of stuff in that bag. And the radar detector, the Valentine radar detector. So here we have the very simple task of lining this up. Pretty self-explanatory. Then we'd have to line the horseshoe up at the same time. Make sure everything fits so we're not forcing anything. Now I want to see right now, that's going to be fine. And what that tells me is I got the right one from Vlad, which I expect nothing less. He really does know his stuff. And again, I thank him over and over for all the stuff he's helped me out with. Tires, parts. And we have enjoyed working on his collection of exotic bikes, Bermudas and Mondales and everything else he has. And here we go. Now, we know this lines up, so now this gets... that raises it up just enough, and that's why you need these, or you should have these special extra long screws with a washer under each one. So now that I know that everything is just exactly the way it should be, the last step, I don't have the bolts in tight. I want to take the bolts out. One drop of blue Loctite on them. It's just a safety thing. Like everything in motorcycling, and no matter what bike you enjoy riding, that's for sure, there's some vibration involved. That'll help a whole lot. And now each one I'll just very gradually tighten that hand tight, and then torque them down a little by little by little, and that has proven to be just perfect. And by the way, that is blue Loctite, not red Loctite. That would be common sense. For anybody who doesn't know, red Loctite is for when you want to permanently install something forever and never take it apart. Blue Loctite is when you someday want to take it apart. Anyway, we do try to share good quality. Most of it's really just common sense. From 60 years of working on motorcycles, I can remember being a teenager and ripping my first Suzuki apart. So, and because this is an aftermarket cap and not a Yamaha cap, I want to make sure there's no interference. No, and that's real nice and neat. No problem getting cap on and off. But believe it or not, on the ones that flip up, a lot of times they do rub on the back. So always good to check it. As I said before, I forgot to do that on the Ninja, and a little embarrassing. But we always share the embarrassing stories on video. That's the whole idea of this channel, is to share usable, useful information for people that have a passion for motorcycles. And now we don't have to pirate the stuff off the R1. Ready for the next ride on the FCR. So I do hope some of that was useful information. Again, I'm still babysitting my wife, who's recovering from surgery, working in the garden every day, trying to just make time pass pleasantly. And little maintenance thing like that today, when I'm actually physically ready to leave her alone, and we're not ready yet, and head out on the open road, knowing I have one more little maintenance project done will be great. I always want to thank the healthcare workers. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you. My family has gotten through this, and I know, well, most people have, except for the ones that I can't believe there are people that don't want to get the shot now, but hey, it's a free country, you know. You can put a bullet in your head anytime you want. Anyway, good information. The review of this tank bag, and I have to be honest, this is the best one I've ever had. It mounts my radar detector, and again, all the things I like to bring on a ride. Most of the time I do my riding, I'm far enough away from home that I'd have to get a helicopter to fly back. But anyway, just having a security of having that extra jumper battery, tire repair stuff, I don't know, a couple of microfibers, my durometer, and a tire pressure gauge. It's very, very handy. And by the way, these bags come with a locking system. You can lock it so somebody can't, if you're at a bike meetup, they can't, it comes with a key. You can lock it so you can't take it off the bike. And the zipper locks with a little security lock like you put on luggage for an airport. All good things. My review of this bag is 5-star. I've not had one thing about it that hasn't suited my needs. And it's about a year since I've got it already, and it's stood the test of time. So anyway, again, my channel, purpose of the channel, share useful information. And we go on rides, we work on things, we custom paint all bikes and do wheels and whatever. You can look at the channel, there's way over 2,000 videos there. Hope some of that appeals to you. Anyway, and the best thing of all, it's all free, and thanks so much for watching. So normally we do try to post a new video every day or so. Of course, sometimes life gets in the way, which is what's happening right now with my wife recovering from surgery. But we try to go on rides every day. It's even remotely rideable, all 4 seasons. I wish we could live in a part of the world where you can ride 365. We probably get to ride about 250 days a year. And we do, over the wintertime, work on some pretty creative, cool projects, very useful information. We have subscribers worldwide on every continent, and most of the feedback we get is pretty good. So I guess somebody is enjoying sharing the information. So I hope you enjoyed watching the video. I enjoy editing them. And thank you so much for watching.